I've started working on larger canvases that I built last October in preparation for a two-person exhibition with Andy Paxos at Kim Storage Gallery. It's going to be a plein air exhibition. And earlier this week, I shared my DIY large format easel that I've been using to start this larger composition that is 4 by almost 5 feet wide. The composition for this painting is centered on the idea of tree houses. Megan and I walk our dog Lenny throughout the neighborhood, and over the last couple of years, I've sort of collected these different tree houses, and I've always wanted to make a painting of tree houses. When I was a kid, I grew up in Bristol, Wisconsin with my 2 siblings and our mom. We were really fortunate to grow up in a rural farm, hobby farm sort of location. I've made work about the barn that we had on our property for my thesis work in grad school. But recently I've been thinking a lot about the treehouse that we had that my uncle built for us around this ash tree, which at one point we had to take the tree down because of the borer beetle that came in and destroyed the tree. But you can see in some of these older photos when we had our house rebuilt, the right side shows this treehouse sort of structure. And I spent a lot of time here as a kid. So when I walk Lenny with Megan now, it reminds me of those early formative childhood experiences. With the warmer temperatures this week and the bright sunny days, I was able to go out and start this painting. And not far from where we live, there is this treehouse that I see almost every day. And I really love this vantage point of it from their neighbor's property with these big horizontal shapes. And while I was working on the painting, a neighbor who's lived in this neighborhood since the early 1960s and grew up in the area stopped by and told me a bunch of really interesting stories about his upbringing, where he had a pet raccoon that was written about in the newspaper. He also shared his high school basketball stories. His name is Dave, and he's a really, really nice guy. This is one of the things I love most about plein air painting is that you're out and exposed to the public, and most of the time you meet really, really nice, generous, helpful, and kind people. And those interactions that I get to have become embedded in my memory with these paintings. After a few hours, I took the canvas to another location in the neighborhood where there was a more vertical shaped treehouse that I wanted to bring into this multi-view, kind of format composition. And I don't really go into these paintings with a clear idea of how I want to divide the picture plane. It becomes more intuitive and improvisational during the process. So I decided to put this view of a treehouse on the upper left vertical corner of the composition. And I was parked in the sun, so I had to come up with a way to block out a lot of that direct light on the canvas. The wooden platform on one of the wooden cots that my wife and I built for camping worked perfectly for this as a solution to allow me to better gauge the relationships of colors and values. Direct sunlight can totally throw off the way that we see those things when we work on our paintings. So the next day, I brought the canvas back to the first location and spent a few more hours before I had to teach my online class, and really started to get to a place where I'm starting to feel the character of the painting and how I see the direction of this painting continuing. So there's a lot of simplification that I'm starting to employ in details of the background. It looks like the weather's going to turn for the next week and be pretty overcast and cooler in temperature, so I'm gonna have to put the painting away for a little while, but I'm really happy that I got a head start on this before we enter the late spring, early summer weeks, and I'm hoping to get this painting done over the next month at the latest. So stay tuned for more updates and save the date for our show in Milwaukee. Hope you can join us. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. P.S. If you're also really into tree houses, check out this book by Pete Nelson and Radek Kurzah, all about tree houses around the world. I've had this since I was a little kid. It's one of my favorite books.